For gained attention, I mentioned a kid being shot by a policeman, which got most of the crowd's attention, and followed what page 241 suggests in terms of referring to the speech situation and identifying with the audience, because my audience was the Ferguson residents, so I give myself an A. For showed relevance of topic to audience, I definitely made the discussion very pertinent to the people by explaining if they wanted a brighter future, then they need to get to the root of the problem, so I give myself an A. For established credibility, I mentioned my direct connection, and then I explained how I did extensive research, so I give myself an A. For a clear thesis statement, I tried to look at the example that you had given us, and then I thought I wrote a clear and concise statement that flowed pretty well, but it wasn't very creative, so I give myself a B. For the previewed body of speech, I thought I used my visual aid to help, and it was kind of broken into like logical categories, but I didn't use powerful language, so I give myself a B. Overall, I give myself a 12 out of 15. For clear main points and claims, I thought that my main points were clearly stated and essential, but I did try to have smooth transitions. However, it might have been confusing because I talk about the Michael Brown shooting in relation to the lack of connection, so I give myself a C. For strong arguments, I thought I did a good job of having supporting material and appropriate balance, as well as complete view of the subject, like page 220 states, so I give myself an A. For supporting materials, I thought I used above average because I was cited 9 sources instead of 7, so I give myself an A. For the oral source citations, because I had so many, I wrote them down and I thought I looked at my note card a little too much, so I definitely could have done better. I give myself a C there. For effective organization, I thought I appropriately arranged things and I followed the exact format of the example you had given us, so I give myself an A. For effective transitions, I thought my transitions definitely previewed or led into what was next. However, I got nervous during the speech and some of these didn't come out because I even tried to transition between my different body points, but I felt like I didn't execute that very well, so I give myself a B. For effective style, I thought I used appropriate language and clarity. However, I could have added more rhythm and vividness, so I give myself a B. Overall, I give myself a 25 out of 30. For the audience, prepared for my conclusion, I thought it was pretty apparent that I was coming to the conclusion. I had talked about my solution and my transition kind of blankly stated it, so I give myself an A. For the thesis and main points summarized, I thought I did a good job of looking at what I had discussed and then smoothly calling people to action in reference to my thesis, so I give myself an A. For closed speech by reference to the intro or other device, I tried to use a different tactic this time and brought in a quote, which most people seem to like, and I also referred to the title when I talked about joining hands with the police, so I give myself an A there. Overall, I give myself a 12 out of 15. For maintained eye contact, I thought I did a good job, unless I was citing my sources, so I give myself a B. For used voice for maximum effect, I thought I talked too soft at the beginning, but other than that, I thought I used good inflation to emphasize certain points, so I give myself an A. For used gestured movements and facial expressions, I thought my movements were natural, but I am not sure how enthusiastic I was, so I give myself a B. For evidence of preparation and practice, I was disappointed because I worked really hard on this speech, but I felt like my delivery wasn't very good this time. And however, I did remain confident in the majority of it, so I give myself a B. Overall, I give myself a 20 out of 25 there. Lastly, I thought my topic was really challenging because I was trying to talk about an intangible problem by improving it with a tangible issue, so I give myself an A. For adapted to audience, I was watching the audience and doing my best, but I always think I could get better at this, so I give myself a B. Overall there, I give myself a 13 out of 15. This brings my speech grade to an 82 out of 100, or a B.